Dear students, welcome to this revision of first unit. First unit is environment, ecosystem and biodiversity. So I have divided it into two parts, and in the first video we can see about environment and ecosystem. So what is environment? So environment is the sum total of living and non-living organisms, or I can tell it as it is the sum total of biotic and abiotic components, or in short we can tell that each and everything around us is called environment. So environment is derived from a French word, and environ means surroundings. So environment is each and everything around us. Then coming to environmental studies, so it is a process of educating the public for protecting the environment. And environment engineering means it is the application of engineering principles to the protection of the environment and also the protection of public health and welfare. So there are two types of environments. One is natural environment and another one is man-made environment, and the components of environment are biotic or living components, abiotic or non-living components, and energy components. Then coming to biomes, biomes means they are large ecological areas with flora and fauna. Fauna means animals, flora means plants. Now what's the scope of environmental studies? See, if environmental studies are there, then that creates an awareness among the people and provides the knowledge about ecological system and the relationship. Then it gives an opportunity to know about environmental programs, to know about the problems of overpopulation, health, hygiene, etc. And what's the need for public awareness means, see, environmental pollution can be stopped only by public participation. So there are different types of public participation like pressure group, watchdog, advisory council, enforcing laws, and so on. So hope I have understood what is environment, and you may be thinking why as an engineering student I should learn environmental science. So environmental your syllabus, the subject is environmental science and engineering. So application of engineering principles to protect the environment, that is known as environmental engineering. And coming to the second chapter, that is ecosystem. So we should know what is an ecosystem and what is ecology. So ecology, it is derived from a Greek word meaning study of home. So ecology is the study of interaction among organisms or group of organisms with the environment. Interaction of an organism with the environment is called ecology. And ecosystem means group of organisms interacting with themselves and with the environment. So there is interaction between themselves as well as with the environment, that is known as ecosystem, or I can tell ecology is the study of ecosystem. So there are different types of ecosystem: forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem, grassland. We will be seeing in detail. Now coming to the types of ecosystem, there are two types of ecosystem. One is natural ecosystem, another one is artificial or man-made ecosystem. So we are now going to study only about the natural ecosystem. So it is divided into terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial means land living, aquatic means water living. So aquatic is again divided into marine and freshwater. Marine is salt water. Freshwater again divided into lotic and lentic. Lotic means running water like spring, stream, rivers, etc. Lentic is standing water, that is lake, pond, pools, etc. So these are the types of ecosystem, and I have given you a small block diagram also about this one. So we will be seeing about each ecosystem separately. Then coming to the structure and function of ecosystem is an important question. So what is the structure of ecosystem means? It gives the relationship between abiotic and biotic components. So abiotic are non-living components and biotic are living components. So this diagram we have to draw for structure of ecosystem, relationship between biotic and abiotic organisms or abiotic components. So coming, we'll be seeing different things. See, abiotic components means it is nothing but the air, water, soil, minerals, etc. Now, biotic components we have to see in detail. So coming to the biotic components is classified into producers, consumers and decomposers. See, producers are mainly plants. Plants are the producers. They are otherwise known as autotrophs. So they prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Hope you all know about photosynthesis. So photosynthesis means it is the process of converting carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates by using chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight. Then the next one is consumers. Consumers otherwise known as heterotrophs. So they do not directly prepare their food, but they depend directly or indirectly on producers for food. Example is insects, goat, etc. Now these consumers are again divided into three types. One is primary consumers or herbivores. So herbivores means they directly depend on plants for food, insects, rats, etc. So they depend on plants for food directly. So they are known as plant eaters. The second one is secondary consumers or primary carnivores. So they depend upon these herbivores for food. They are known as carnivores. So they depend upon herbivores for food. They are meat eaters. Herbivores are plant eaters. Carnivores are meat eaters. So frog, cat, etc. Then tertiary consumers or they are known as secondary carnivores. They are also meat eaters. They depend upon primary carnivores for food. So lion, tiger, etc. And the third type is decomposers or they are known as saprotrophs. So they feed on dead organisms. So they decompose these dead organisms into simpler compounds and inorganic nutrients will be released during decomposition. Example is microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi. So abiotic components, as I told you, it contains both physical and chemical components. Physical components include energy, climate, etc. Chemical components, organic or inorganic substances, micronutrients, macronutrients, etc. Then coming to the function of an ecosystem. So the main function means it allows the flow of energy and cycling of nutrients. Flow of energy and cycling of nutrients. So there are three different types of function: primary function, secondary function and tertiary function. So primary function is the manufacture of starch using photosynthesis. Secondary function is distribution of energy in the form of food to all the consumers. And tertiary function is, say, at a particular stage all the living organisms will die and they are decomposed to initiate the third function known as cycling process. So these are the three functions. Manufacture of starch is the primary function, distribution of energy is the secondary function, and cycling is the tertiary function. Then coming to the energy flow of the ecosystem, various components of an ecosystem. Energy flow is an important question. See, energy is required for all living organisms for their survival and activity. See, the inexhaustible energy is solar energy, and plants use only 1% of solar energy for photosynthesis. And some of the amount of energy is used for their growth also. Remaining energy is given to the consumers. So energy flow, it is governed by two laws of thermodynamics, the first law and the second law. All of us know about the first law. So it states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to another form. So solar energy is converted into chemical energy, and that chemical energy is absorbed by the plants. So this first law is otherwise known as law of conservation of energy. Then coming to the second law of thermodynamics. See, whenever energy is transferred between tropic levels, there is a loss of energy. Nearly about 90% of energy will be lost either by respiration or by running, etc. See, a tropic level means that is the food levels. So here, whenever second law states that whenever energy is transformed, there is a loss of energy through the release of heat. So loss of energy takes place either through hunting, respiration, running, etc. So hope you have understood what is energy flow and what about the structure and function of ecosystem. Then the next one is food chain and food web. We will be studying food chain. So the sequence of eating or being eaten in an ecosystem is called food chain. See, either you can eat an organism or something will eat you. So that is known as sequence of eating or being eaten. That is known as food chain. So there are two types of food chain. One is detritus food chain, another one is grazing food chain. So grazing food chain starts with green plants, which are the producers, and it goes to the decomposer through herbivores and carnivores. So grazing food chain is mainly found in grassland ecosystem. Then detritus food chain, it starts with, detritus means dead matter. So it starts with dead organic matter, goes to the decomposer food chain through herbivores and carnivores. So detritus is mainly found in forest ecosystem. So food chain, in pond food chain is different, in grassland it is different, but anyhow you'll be having a producer. Then there will be herbivores, primary carnivores, tertiary carnivores, secondary carnivores and tertiary carnivores. So trophic level means it is the various steps through which food energy passes in an ecosystem. That is known as trophic level. So there will be first trophic level. Plants is the first trophic level. Herbivores or primary consumers is the second trophic level. Carnivores or secondary consumers is the third trophic level. And tertiary consumers is the fourth trophic level. Decomposer represents the fifth trophic level. So there are 5 food levels or 5 trophic levels in an ecosystem. So this is the diagram that shows about the food chain. So producer will be the first one, then herbivores, then primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. So you can look at the diagram. Now coming to the food web. See, in a food chain, only one choice is there. But food web, spider web. So there is an interlocking arrangement. So the interlocking pattern of various food chain in an ecosystem is called food web. So here, see, you can see producer means, see, there are different choices are there. Either it will be eaten by goat or it will be eaten by rabbit. Rat and eaten by rabbit will be eaten by jackal, or goat will be eaten by jackal, that will be eaten by lion. Finally, then it comes to the vultures. So there are different ways. So many food chains will be interconnected. So there will be various trophic levels as there. So here there will be an interlocking. So here if you see nearly 6 food chains are here. So each food chain there will be different things. So if one food chain is not there, the animal will have another thing to eat. So that's the difference between food chain and food web. Hope you have understood what is food chain and food web. Then coming to the ecological succession, another important question, ecological succession. So ecological succession means, see, in an area, one community will be replaced by another community or by a series of communities. So is defined as, that is the progressive replacement of one community by another till the development of stable community in a particular area. So one community will be replaced by another community till a stable community is developed in a particular area, and that is known as ecological succession. So coming to the stages, there are 2 stages. One is pioneer community, another one is the cirrus. So pioneer community means pioneer, the first group of organisms which establish their community in that area. So the first group of organisms which establish their community in that area is known as pioneer community. And the various developmental stages of a community is known as cirrus. So these are the 2 stages. Then coming to the types of ecological succession, there are 2 types of ecological succession. One is primary succession and another one is secondary succession. So in primary succession, we can see it is the gradual establishment of biotic communities on a bare land. See, nothing will be there. It's a bare land. There first establishment of a biotic community, that is primary succession. So it can be either a hydrarch or a serarch. Hydrarch or hydroseer, it means water related things. Then xerarch or xeroseer, it relates to desert thing. So these are the two things. So either hydrarch or xerarch are the two primary succession areas. Then coming to the secondary succession, it involves the establishment of biotic organism in an area where some type of biotic community is already present. In primary, nothing will be there. This will be the first thing. But in secondary, already there will be a biotic community. But in another one also will be established. That is known as secondary succession. So these are the two types of ecological succession. Coming to the process of ecological succession, it involves 5 processes: nudation, invasion, competition, reaction, stabilization. So coming to nudation, it is the development of a bare land without any life form. There is no life form at all. That area is being developed. That is nudation. Coming to second type, invasion means establishment of one or more species on bare land through migration followed by establishment. So migration either by wind, birds or anything. So migration takes place followed by establishment, that is invasion. Then third one is competition. So when number of individual species increases, naturally there will be competition for space, water and nutrients. So there's a competition between different species. The next one is reaction. Reaction means, say the living organisms present there, it will be using the water, nutrients for growth, and thereby it will be modifying the environment. So it will be suitable for some species and it is not suitable for some other species. So here whichever is suitable, that will be established, that is known as reaction. And the last process is stabilization. So it leads to a stable community which is in equilibrium with the environment, that is stabilization, stable community. So nudation is the development of a bare land. Invasion is establishment of one or more species through migration followed by establishment. Then competition is, then the number of species increases, competition for space, water and nutrients. Then reaction, the living organisms will be using the water and nutrients and they will be growing and modifying the environment. And stabilization is, it leads to a stable community which is in equilibrium with the environment. So if ecological succession is asked, you should be able to write the definition, the stages, types and also the process of ecological succession. Now coming to ecological pyramids. So ecological pyramids means it is the graphical representation of structure and function of various trophic levels of an ecosystem with producers at the bottom and successive levels forming at the apex of the pyramid. Same bottom, first bottom base will be producers, then it will be primary consumers, secondary consumers and the top will be tertiary consumers. So a pyramid shape, more or less a triangle shape, that is known as ecological pyramids. So when we know that food chain starts from the producer, then there will be consumer. So there is a decrease in the properties like energy, biomass and number. At each trophic level, 90% will be lost. So progressively near the top, it will be small. You know the triangle shape now. So top will be small, base will be broad. So ecological pyramids there are 3 types of ecological pyramids. One is pyramids of numbers, pyramid of energy, and the other one is pyramid of biomass. See, pyramid of numbers means it represents the number of individual organisms present at each level. So producers, it will be, say for example, food chain plants eaten by rats, eaten by snake, eaten by eagle. So when you see the count, producers will be small in size but they will be large in number. So they occupy the first level. The bottom level will be occupied by producers. Then primary consumers, rats. Then it comes to snakes and finally comes to eagle. So the number and size will be less at the top. But if you consider a pond ecosystem, it will be an inverted pyramid. So phytoplankton will be the producer, so that will be at the top. It is an inverted pyramid. So producer, inverted triangle shape you think. So producers at the top, that will form at the top. Then primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. Now coming to the second type, that is pyramid of energy. So it represents the amount of energy present in each topic level. Producers contains more calorie of energy than primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. So each level there will be a loss of energy. So at the top level, that is a sharp decrease in energy. So we can see that energy pyramid. The next is pyramid of biomass. So the total amount of biomass present in each topic level. So biomass means mass or weight of biological material or organism. So here also we can see that producers has more biomass when compared to primary, secondary, and finally tertiary will be having lesser biomass. So there is a decrease in the biomass from bottom to top. So trees will be maximum number in forest, so it contributes huge biomass. Then comes herbivores, carnivores, they are less in biomass. And last will be tertiary consumers, for example tigers, so its biomass is very low. So from bottom to top, it will be decreasing biomass. And so hope you have understood ecological pyramids. It is the representation of structure and function of various levels. It produces at the base, and at the apex it will be tertiary consumers. Hope you have understood. Okay. Next one is types, characteristics, structure and function of. So what are the types, characteristics, structure and function of all these ecosystem? We have to see in detail. So we have to see about terrestrial and aquatic. In terrestrial, it is forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem. Then aquatic, it is divided into freshwater and marine. Freshwater is pond ecosystem, stream or river ecosystem, lake ecosystem. Then marine or salt water, it is ocean and estuary. Will be seen one by one. So any one will be asked for your exam. See, coming to the terrestrial ecosystem, I told you three types: forest, desert and grassland. First one is forest ecosystem. So forest ecosystem, we know that there will be tall and dense trees will be growing. So trees provide shelter to birds and animals. Then rainfall will be moderate to heavy rainfall. And there are 5 types of forest. Tropical rainforest, then tropical deciduous forest, tropical scrub forest, temperate rainforest and temperate deciduous forest. So coming to the characteristics of forest ecosystem, see, they occupy more space than any other ecosystem. Tall trees will be supporting wild animals. Soil will be rich in organic matter. Then light penetration will be poor. So conversion will be very fast. Then forest maintains climate and rainfall. Then you have to write about the food chain. So plants eaten by deer, eaten by tiger, or plants eaten by rabbits, eaten by snakes, eaten by eagles. Any one example you can write. Then coming to the structure, abiotic factors, you have to write organic, inorganic substance, temperature, light, rainfall, etc. Then coming to the biotic components, producers, trees, shrubs, then shrubs, etc. Then primary consumers, herbivores, ants, flies. Secondary consumer will be snakes, birds, etc. Tertiary consumers are lion, tiger, etc. Then decomposes bacteria and fungi. This is the structure. Then coming to the function, it provides biodiversity, it provides food to human beings, and it maintains climate and rainfall. So you have to write the types, characteristics, food chain, structure and function. Then second one is grassland ecosystem. So grassland occupies 20% of Earth's surface. Climate will be cool in winter and hot in summer. So there are 3 types of grasslands: tropical grassland, temperate grassland and polar grassland. Now coming to the characteristics, it's a plain land occupied by grasses. Moderate tall grass supports grazing animals. Rainfall will be low and uneven. Soil is rich in nutrients and organic matter. Then coming to the food chain, grass, it will be eaten by grasshopper, by lizard, by eagle. Or I can write grass eaten by rabbit, eaten by hawk. Any one food chain example you can give it. Then coming to the structure of grassland ecosystem, abiotic. So abiotic will be nutrients in the soil, carbon, hydrogen, phosphate, sulfate, anything. Then biotic components produces grasses, shrubs. Then primary carnivores, consumers of herbivores, that is cow, rabbit, sheep, etc. Then secondary consumer will be snakes, birds. Tertiary consumer is hawks and eagles, decomposes bacteria and fungi. Coming to the function of grassland ecosystem, grasses means it prevents soil erosion. It serves as pool of energy for grazing animals. Then grasses will be trapping solar energy and the biomass will be consumed by herbivores. Then coming to the desert ecosystem, the desert, it occupies 33% of world's land surface area. So there will be low rainfall and ecological succession of grassland is known as desert ecosystem. So there are three types of desert: tropical desert, temperate desert and cold desert. Now what are the characteristics of desert ecosystem? So we know that desert air is very dry, climate will be hot, annual rainfall is very less than 25 centimeter, very less vegetation, soil is poor in organic matter and nutrients. Coming to the food chain, say shrub or grass or trees, anything, it is eaten by insects, by lizards, by eagles. Now coming to the structure of desert ecosystem, abiotic components will be high temperature, low rainfall, water, etc. Then biotic produces grasses, bushes, few trees. Primary consumers will be insects and reptiles. Secondary consumers will be lizards. Tertiary consumers will be eagles. Then decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Then functions of desert ecosystem. Desert land, it is rich in nutrients since no plants are living. So it will be rich in nutrients. Soil has micro and macronutrients. Deserts have less water. Then it is a place for camels. Hope you have understood desert ecosystem. So these three are the terrestrial: forest, grassland and desert. Coming to the aquatic ecosystem, two types: freshwater and marine ecosystem. First we'll be seeing about freshwater ecosystem. So freshwater ecosystem, in that both lentic and lotic will be there. So first one is pond ecosystem. So pond is a freshwater aquatic system. So water will be stagnant in a pond. Then it receives enough water during rainy season. So it has several types of aquatic organisms like fish, algae, etc. The characteristics of pond ecosystem. It's a stagnant pond is a stagnant freshwater body. It is seasonal. It is temporary. Then it is more polluted due to limited amount of water and overutilization by community. Now structure of pond ecosystem: abiotic components, temperature, light, pH, water, etc. Biotic components, producers, that is phytoplankton. When you come to aquatic, you should mention phytoplankton. So phytoplankton, they are the plants. Okay. Then primary consumers are zooplanktons. Secondary consumers are water beetles, small fish. Tertiary consumers are large fish. Decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Then function of pond ecosystem is a freshwater resource for small water requirements and village farming. Then it contains algae, plants and animals. So it is a self-sufficient ecosystem. So it is a place where human activities like washing clothes, swimming, all these things takes place. The next one is stream or river ecosystem. So stream or river ecosystem, it's a freshwater ecosystem. So here stream or river, it is moving water. It's not stagnant, it is moving. So characteristics of stream ecosystem, it is dynamic freshwater system. And the streams may be dry during summer. It deposits large amount of nutrients. Then it has high self-purification capacity. DO content is more due to the mixing of water and oxygen. The structure of stream ecosystem: abiotic is temperature, light, pH, nutrients. Then biotic produces green algae, aquatic grass. Primary consumers are water, insect, fishes, snails. Secondary consumers, here it will be birds, mammals. Decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Then here what's the function means: it's used for irrigation, it provides fresh water for people. So that's about river. It is always known as river or stream stream ecosystem. Then the next one is lake ecosystem. So lake is a large natural shallow water body. So it is a bigger freshwater body than a pond. Lake is bigger than pond. It receives water during rainfall, melting of snow, etc. So there are 6 different types of lakes: oligotrophic lakes, eutrophic, dystrophic, volcanic, merometric, artificial. Just know the names, that's enough. Then characteristics of lake ecosystem: it is a shallow freshwater body, self-sufficient ecosystem. It helps in irrigation and village community life. It is a permanent water body with large water resources. Then structure: abiotic is temperature, pH, water, etc. Biotic, that is producers are phytoplankton. Primary consumers are zooplankton. Secondary consumers are insects, small fish. Tertiary consumers are larger fishes. Decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Then function of lake ecosystem is a reservoir for large fresh water, and it stores water during rainy season, and later it's used for irrigation and community development. So this is about lake ecosystem, and in this figure you can see about different zones: littoral zone, limnatic zone, profundal zone, benthing zone. Depending upon the depth, these layers or zones have been classified. So lake ecosystem, you mention the type of lakes, characteristics, then abiotic, biotic and functions. So freshwater ecosystem, 3 types you have seen: pond, river and lake ecosystem. Coming to the marine ecosystem, that is salt water. First one is ocean ecosystem. So ocean, it covers about 70% of Earth's surface. It's a large saline ecosystem. It has large amount of salts and minerals. It supplies sea products and drugs. Characteristics of ocean ecosystem: it is a saline water ecosystem. Then it occupies large surface area. It is rich in biodiversity. It has low dissolved oxygen, and it moderates the temperature of the earth. So structure: abiotic is temperature, light, etc. You can write. Biotic producer will be algae, seaweeds. Then primary consumers are fish, crustaceans. Then secondary consumers: mackerel, herring, bigger fish than the primary consumer. The tertiaries are very large fishes like cod, haddocks and all. Then decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Now, function of ocean ecosystem: it provides food for marine and terrestrial species. Then there will be huge quantities of marine products like drugs, stones, salt, etc. It's a reservoir for sodium chloride, common salt and many other minerals. Then major role in climate change and biogeochemical cycle. Then ships, submarines, it can sail in oceans. So commercial activities are more in ocean ecosystem. Then the second one is estuarine ecosystem. So estuary means it is a semi-closed coastal body at the mouth of a river, where river joins the sea. See, the river will be joining the sea. So that mouth of that river, it is known as estuary. So it is strongly affected by tidal action, and that area, estuary, is useful to human beings because it is abundant. It has abundance of nutrients and high food potential will be there. So it is not that much salty because river, it is joining the sea, fresh water joining salt water. So it's a mixing of that area. So characteristics of estuarine ecosystem: it is a transition zone strongly affected by tides of the sea. Then there will be periodical changes in the water quality. Living organism in estuary area, it will be having wide tolerance. Then salinity is high during summer and low during winter. During summer, evaporation will be more, so salt content will be more. Then structure of estuarine ecosystem: abiotic, temperature, pH, nutrients, etc. Then biotic producers is marsh grass, seaweed, seagrass, etc. Then primary consumers are crabs and oysters. Secondary consumers: seabirds, small fish. Tertiary consumers are salmon, eels, that larger fish. Then decomposer: bacteria and fungi. Coming to the functions of estuarine ecosystem, it's used for prawn culture and other activities. Then due to high food potential, it's used for growing and studying genetically modified species. For research work, we can use that area. Then it is highly essential to protect estuaries from pollution. It will be more polluted, so you have to protect that area. So marine, two things we have seen in marine ecosystem: ocean and estuarine ecosystem. So hope you have understood all. Terrestrial ecosystem, three types. Then aquatic, we'll be studying three types of freshwater ecosystem and two types of saltwater marine ecosystem. So anyone will be asked. So if this question is asked, you have to write a small introduction part. What are the characteristics? If there are types, you can mention. Then structure, abiotic, biotic components with example. Then you have to tell about the functions of that ecosystem. So hope you have understood this ecosystem and environment part. Major questions, all the things I have revised, and the remaining biodiversity we can see in the second part. Okay, thank you.